You are now connected to the Christian whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty.
Taking on 2,000 years of indoctrination, 2 hours at a time.
Sink or swim, deep end information.
Asking questions no one else will.
Parabiblical research, spiritual technology, personal empowerment.
Be your own guru.
Master your own ascension.
Guide your own spirit.
And now, showing you how, the Christian whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty.
Well, hello, this is Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, and it's a hearty welcome to you here. I'm coming to you from Central Florida on the shores of Lake Fairview, literally about 15 or 20 feet from the shores of Lake Fairview. We've got a great show for you tonight. Last week we talked about the final false flag, and tonight we're going to be looking at the how of the final false flag. John, last week, the Apostle John, the apostle that Yeshua rather loved, showed us that the book of Revelation is really not about the second coming of the true God. The book of Revelation is about the faked false flag that will be perpetrated by a false entity claiming to be God. So really, Revelation is not the linchpin of all eschatology. It's not the linchpin of all Bible prophecy. It really is, but Bible prophecy is by and large a fear tactic and a scam. But the reality is that the Apostle John wrote the book of Revelation, at least the portions that he did write, to warn us of the final false flag. We'll get into that, and we'll get into how this final false flag is going to be perpetrated upon us. And before we do that, we've got a lot of exciting things going on. The Unindoctrinate Yourself tour, the planning of it is in full swing. You'll remember that the Unindoctrinate Yourself tour started this month in San Antonio, Texas, and we had a great event there, the Phantom Fest. It was just a great time. I was able to speak there. We talked about the alien agenda in the New Testament. That's part of the book, The Final Message of the Last Apostle, which is available at jeffreydaugherty.com and christianwhistleblower.com. And then, of course, we were on Coast to Coast AM this month as well. And we now have many events scheduled. The Unindoctrinate Yourself tour in March will be in Columbus, Ohio. In April, we'll be in Hudson Valley, New York. In May, we'll be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. June, July, open at this point. August, we'll be in Kansas City. September also open. October will be in Erie, Pennsylvania. So you can see, if you're keeping track, January, February, June, July, and September, as well as November and December of 2016 remain open, but they are filling very quickly. So I said all that to say that if you are an organizer of a conference, a paranormal conference, even a Comic-Con, anything that has to do with the unexplained, the paranormal, the extra normal, UFOs, I can be very effective in any type of a conference situation. About the only one that I don't really feel confident in is the cryptid type conferences, creatures. But then again, I did actually see with my father a skunk ape down here in Florida. So I'm one of those guys that has actually seen what you would equate to a Bigfoot. And I was probably 18 or so, 17. I was probably 16 or 17. And we were driving between my grandmother's house and our house, my father and I, in I think it was a 73 Chevy Vega green. It was such a great looking car at that time. And we're tooling down the road, middle of the night, literally, because we would get a wild hair to go to my grandmother's house, and she lived a couple hours away, hour and a half. Yeah, it was about a couple hours, and we'd just jump in the car, grab a pizza, and we'd be off and running to his mother's, my grandmother's house. And one night, man, we were driving, we went on a back road, the way we don't always go, and sure enough, we had pulled over because somebody had to relieve themselves. I don't know if it was me or him, but that's kind of TMI, I know. But one of us had to relieve ourselves, so the car pulled over. I believe it was my dad, because I was still sitting in the car. And I started to smell something terrible. And I remember making a joke to my dad, what are you doing out there? And all of a sudden, I mentioned I was about 20 feet from this lake, closer, between me and the lake, walks a Bigfoot, a stinky, nasty Bigfoot. He was shaggy, he was hairy, it was dark, and all we had was the headlights, and my dad had dimmed those, when he had turned the car off, so they kind of automatically dimmed. But I mean, this skunk ape, that's what we found that they're called here in Florida, he walked right across, not in any particular rush, not in any particular amount of fear, nor was there any aggression, but here was this shaggy, grayish, dingy, matted looking Bigfoot. And we kind of just shrugged it off, and it was a pretty amazing thing that happened. But anyway, it was a Bigfoot, so I don't know, maybe I could speak at a cryptid conference. But at any rate, if you'd like me to speak at your conferences, contact me. The easiest and fastest way is through jeffreydarty.com or christianwhistleblower.com. Just hit the contact button and just get in contact with me, talk with me, and we'll see if we can work out my appearing and speaking at your event. Now also, I would like to speak at spiritual centers, churches. Unity churches have been receptive. Spiritual centers have been receptive. We can talk about a lot of different things. We can talk about the difference between Pauline religion and Christianity and the real true message of Yeshua. We can talk about the matrix control. We can talk about spiritual Stockholm syndrome. We can talk about the New Testament being jumbled. We can talk about alien agenda in the New Testament. We can talk about a lot of different things. So if you'd like to have me at your conference, if you'd like to have me at your church, www.jeffreydarty.com, www.christianwhistleblower.com, and obviously it's filling up rather quickly, so you need to let me know sooner rather than later. That way I don't have to say, sorry, cannot do it, I'm already booked. But let's take a look now at Unindoctrinate Weekly. Of course, it's on the website Unindoctrinate Daily. But this being a weekly program, we go with Unindoctrinate Weekly on the program. And of course, we talked last week about a 19-year-old dying in a church counseling session, a younger brother being in critical condition. Folks, these are the natural outgrowths of Pauline religion. That's what powers this. That's what propels this. Then, of course, I guess it's on Halloween or the day before, we're going to have a live exorcism on television, which I think is kind of stupid, but we'll see how it works out. And here's something interesting. Dead for 48 minutes, the headline says. Catholic priest claims that God is female. Interesting. Also interesting that you have to be dead for 48 minutes to realize something that is revealed in the first sentence of the Bible. What's the first sentence of the Bible? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Of course, if you take any time at all, as a Catholic priest should be able to, just look at the word in a literal Hebrew to English, and it says, in the beginning, the gods and goddesses, the male and female, Elohim, created the heavens and the earth. So with all due respect to Father whatever his name is, I didn't even bother to write it down or commit it to memory, but with all due respect, dead for 48 minutes to find out that God is female, or that there is a female presence in the Elohim and in the deity, I guess better late than never, my brother. But a Catholic priest claims that God is female, and of course, the reality is that God is female, and the reality is that God is male. The reality is that God is female and male, and the reality is that God is really God's. And that's not Darty talking. That is the original Hebrew language writing of the Old Testament. And I used to get so irritated, but I don't get irritated anymore. It's kind of a shake my head moment when I have people write me, and it happens almost every day. You wrest the scriptures. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't you know that the Bible really means this? Don't you know that the Bible really means that? And of course, I want to write back, and I used to write back, but now very rarely do I write back and respond, because frankly, I don't have the time, and I really don't have the desire, because a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still, and I'm not here to convince people against their will. I'm here to deliver the news. I'm here to deliver the mail. I'm here to deliver the facts and allow people to draw their own conclusion. So, all you have to do is read the language. All I do is expound the language. All I do is tell you what the language says. And the big problem with people is they can't get outside of their preconceived notions. It says God created the heavens and the earth. You crazy, ignorant fool. Moving quickly towards stupid. The English rendering of Hebrew written 6,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, says, in the beginning, God. Use as much effort as you do finding your favorite TV show. Use as much effort as you do getting a hold of your favorite ice cream. Use as much effort as you put into finding your favorite fast food grease bomb. Put as much effort into it as you put in the choosing of the toilet tissue that you prefer for your delicate derriere. Put as much effort into that. Put that much effort into your reading of the Bible, and you may find out that I'm not the one full of the stuff that you need the toilet tissue for, and perhaps it's you. How about that for something to think about? But yes, God is female, God is male. The word is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The word is, in the beginning, the Elohim. And it doesn't matter what you think, what you believe, what you feel, who you are, what you do. The word Elohim means, if you look it up, it literally means gods and goddesses, male and female deities. God is female, God is male. Gods, some of the gods are male, some of the gods are female. At least one is female, at least one is male, and there are at least two. Because you can't have gods if, of course, there's only one. And that makes it so much easier to understand Genesis 1:26. And it says, and then the Elohim created mankind in their image. Male and female created they them. You have to be ignorant, stupid, and willfully so not to read and understand that the male and female gods created mankind in their image. Male and female created they them. Work that backwards. Mankind was created male and female. Mankind was created in the image of the gods. The gods are male and female. It's called logic, people. Try it. You might like it. So, Dead for 48 Minutes, Catholic priest claims God is female, and he's right. He's at least half right in spite of himself. And here's another great one. The face of Jesus and other religious figures seen in 21 weird places. The face of Jesus and other religious figures seen in 21 weird places. Weird places like the side of a mud hill. Weird places like mold in a bathroom, weird places like a piece of toast, weird places like the reflection on the side of a building. 21 of these things. Now, I can almost guarantee you that on the Unindoctrinate Yourself tour, Jeffrey Darty's Paranormal Trip is what we're calling the part of it, where we're going to make videos from all of the spiritual sites. I guarantee you, almost guarantee you, that there won't be any toast sightings, any hill sightings. There probably won't be any building sightings of Mary, Mother, Joseph, Peter, Paul, Simon, Garfunkel, none of that. We're going to go to truly unexplained sites, some of them paranormal sites, some of them that you would equate with hauntings or things of that nature. We're going to go to spiritual sites, places that are said to be vortexes or vortices, things that are said to be portals, areas of sacred nature that are said to have sacred properties, sites of cryptids, Bigfoot, Mothman, and that genre. Some of the great spiritual sites of the country, some of the oldest Ten Commandments, the Coral Castle, things of that nature. And we're going to make videos there, and we're going to put it into a little web series, and it's going to be called Paranormal Trip with Jeffrey Darty, or Jeffrey Darty's Paranormal Trip. Not sure exactly which way we're going to go on that, but you won't see the face of Jesus in a muddy hillside there. And here's an interesting one, and this is Iran, : this discovery will collapse Christianity. So in the opinion of the country of Iran, a discovery has been made that will collapse Christianity. And well, Iran's a little bit late to the party, because this is a discovery and a fact that I've been talking about for some 5 years now. And they're talking in direct reference to the Barnabas Bible. And the Barnabas Bible is a document that was discovered over in the area of Iran, Iraq. And it purports to show that Yeshua was not crucified. It purports to show that he was not God Almighty all by himself. And it also has some things in there about Yeshua saying that Muhammad was a true prophet and things of that nature. So you can see why the Iranians are excited about it. And the thing that we have to understand is, oh, you can't believe that. It says that Muhammad was a prophet. Well, here's the point, folks. The New Testament has diamond in it. Good stuff. Stuff written by the inspiration of the divine. Stuff that is profitable for us. Stuff that can show us the ways, the truths of Yeshua that lead to life and that more abundant. The New Testament has some great diamonds in it. It also has a bunch of dung in it. It's got a bunch of garbage that isn't true, isn't real, that's set up to control and to engulf us in this mind control matrix. So, yes, the New Testament has some dung in it, but yes, it also has some diamonds, so we still use it and we still look at it and, throw out the bones. And we can do the same thing with the Barnabas Bible. It doesn't have to be perfect in order to use some knowledge from it. That if you want to use that standard, then you can't use the New Testament, because we've demonstrated over and over and over again that error is ubiquitous within the New Testament. That means it's there everywhere all the time. So, am I saying the Barnabas Bible is perfecto? No. But I'm saying that the Barnabas Bible is yet another indication that within the early church there was a great controversy regarding the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus. Many people said it didn't happen. Many people said he didn't get crucified. Many people said if someone was crucified, it wasn't Yeshua. And many people said that obviously if he wasn't crucified, didn't rise from the dead. Paul even talks about this controversy of the resurrection. And Paul was actually the first person to preach the resurrection. We've been over that time and time again. John told us, the Apostle John told us that the apostles never heard about the resurrection. And if they never heard about the resurrection, it's a good bet they didn't ever hear about the crucifixion either, because what would Yeshua do? Tell him he's going to get crucified and just lay in the dirt, take a nice long dirt nap? Doesn't make any sense. So the Barnabas Bible doesn't have to be perfect to be of use. It doesn't have to be 100% true to contain truth. The Barnabas Bible might be mostly dung with a few diamonds, but that puts it right on a par with the New Testament. Now, I didn't just say that the Barnabas Bible's on a par with the New Testament. I said it's similar to the New Testament. And at this point, I would have to say the New Testament remains a more profitable study for those seeking the true knowledge of Yeshua of Nazareth. And for those seeking Christianity, I really can't help you anymore. And, you know, you're kind of on your own because that's just the way it is. But the fact that the realization that Yeshua wasn't crucified, the fact of the realization that there was no resurrection, the fact of the realization that most likely, and we haven't talked about this one yet, but we're going to probably next week, that John said that Yeshua wasn't even born. Yeshua came into the world as a fully grown man, and the Bethlehem story was made up out of whole cloth to coincide with paganism, other religions, to serve as a centripetal force for the Roman Empire. So yeah, I said it, and we're going to get into it as we move on here within the next couple of weeks. A Mormon says that Bigfoot, you know, I didn't even think about that. I didn't intentionally talk about the skunk ape. I love it when synchronicity kicks in and you start talking about things and they just follow each other. So, of course, maybe it was in my subconscious mind. But at any rate, having talked about the skunk ape, a Mormon, a Mormon blogger, or at least a former Mormon blogger named Matt Bowman. Probably shouldn't give him that that publicity, but it's so funny. Matt Bowman comes up with a rather unique interpretation. This is from weirdthings.com/category/religion. You can find it on jeffreydarty.com, Unindoctrinate Daily, and that's what we're looking at, Unindoctrinate Daily. Mormon says that Bigfoot is really Cain from the Bible. You remember Cain slew Abel, had the mark of Cain put upon him so that people would recognize him and not kill him so he could suffer his punishment. So this Mormon says Bigfoot is really Cain from the Bible. And my immediate question is, which one? Which Bigfoot is Cain from the Bible? But I guess maybe I didn't read the whole thing. I'm guilty. I didn't read the story. Didn't really, you know, the headline tickled me. And, you know, that's what this is for you to see some stuff and read some stuff and learn some stuff. And, you know, being entertained is okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. So my immediate question would be, which Bigfoot is Cain? And of course that might be that the whole lineage of Cain is the lineage of Bigfoot or skunk ape or Yeti or Sasquatch or abominable snowman or whatever you want to call them. But this Mormon blogger says that Bigfoot is really Cain from the Bible. And wow, I'm not really sure how to respond to that. It's interesting. Probably a little bit less than empirical. But you know what? This is Unindoctrinate Daily. And it's okay to be entertained now and again. And here's another good one. God's wife cut from the Bible. According to a documentary airing on UK television, God had a wife, and God's wife was cut from the Bible. So here we go. Here we have again synchronicity with the Catholic priest dead for 48 minutes, realizing God is female, and these other folks in the UK saying, well, God had a wife. So there again, more and more information about the true nature of the divine coming out, the Elohim, the divine feminine, the presence of goddesses, and, you know, God's wife. And whether this is an interpretation or whether it's if there's a male God and a female God, the natural inclination would be in human terms to think of them as a couple, and well, maybe they were, maybe they won't, but the new UK TV documentary tells us that God's wife was cut from the Bible. So more and more the things that we say, more and more the things that we talk about, more and more the things that we say and promote on this program, and in my appearances on Coast to Coast and on our YouTube, which is blowing up, by the way, and I'm working hard on getting more content up there, ASAP. Folks, they're coming around. Our message is beginning to really take root. Our message is beginning to really take off. Our message is beginning to really carry the day, and we're just getting started. They ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till we're on the road with this Unindoctrinate Yourself tour. Wait till the paranormal trip starts hitting the web waves, the internet. Wait till we start putting out all of this information in an ever-increasing fashion. Folks, our inertia is picking up. Our momentum is picking up. We are no longer just a snowflake. Now we've become a little grubby ball of snow, and we're starting to roll down the hill. So the more that we do that, the better off things are going to be. So as we continue on, another interesting factoid here. You folks know who Dracula is, Vlad Tepes. And AmazingUniverse.net says that there's a UFO in a 15th century painting from the birthplace of Dracula, Vlad Tepes. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. I really found it. So a UFO in a 15th century painting from the birthplace of Dracula. So that makes a whole lot of interesting things go together. Dracula, UFOs, 15th century paintings, interesting stuff. So check that out on unindoctrinate.com. And finally, for unindoctrinate.com, John Hagee, the rotund Protestant preacher, the guy who can find error with everyone else except his inability to stop eating Twinkies. You know, the preacher that can find problems with Harry Potter, but he can't find any problem with stuffing his face full of Colonel Sanders. And the guy that, you know, can find problem with Teletubbies, but can't find a problem with eating so much food that he's a tubby and he's on the telly. So maybe he's just jealous. But at any rate, John Hagee evidently said something bad about the Catholics, and he felt compelled to write a big long letter that said, hey, I'm sorry for talking bad about you Catholics. So what I'm trying to say is, Protestants, get ready. I've been telling you for 5 years the unity's coming. Get ready. The crucifix is on its way. The reunion of all the daughters of Pauline Christianity is underway. Roman Catholicism and Roman Protestantism are fast becoming one again. So get ready. The party's about to start. And speaking of the party about to start, we're about to get ready when we come back from the break to go into the how of the final false flag. This is Jeffrey Darty. I'm the Christian Whistleblower, and I'll be RB.